All still getting there. I can see 1, 2. The G trying to put her around as well. She's putting down best. Think about this.
G'day punters, welcome back to the MacBet post-operation video. Today we are a man down. Johnny's a bit too busy for us, but Tommy and I are pushing on. We'll be reviewing Doomben today. Tom, how you going? Last day at work, mate? Just give yourself a bit of a high five.
Yeah, exactly. Bit of a pat on the back and finally, can I call myself a pro punter now?
I don't think so. I'm not going to do it on the MacBet Twitter, that's for sure. I'll say pro punter John plus Tom.
When do I get to call myself a pro punter then? That's the only reason I quit my job, just so I can call myself a pro punter.
Let's put it to Twitter and see what the verdict is. Although I don't know if Twitter's very supportive for that kind of thing. So we'll see.
Yeah, they'll put me back in my place. That's for sure. If it's merited.
Regardless, you'll want to back a few winners if you're going to call yourself a pro. But last week for us, we lost, but we only just lost. We lost 0.1 units across early and yard mail. The yard mail won actually at 23%, picked up a few units there, lost a few early. But yeah, just a flat week for us after what's been a pretty good year to date, winning at 25%. We're up 40 units. Things chugging along nicely, and we had an okay sort of got out in front at Doomben on Saturday, but yeah, just a flat week.
Yeah, I think having a look at the schedule now, I think Wednesday at Ipswich, I think it got rained out.
Yeah.
And then we went to Sunny Coast on Friday. I think that was a bit of a bloodbath. That was probably an understatement. That wasn't very good. And then Saturday, I think we picked up all right. And Sunday yesterday, does that go into this week's results or is that last week's?
That's this week's results. Yeah, Sunday's included.
This week's results.
Monday to Monday.
Yeah, it was a bit of a quiet week. So rolling into this week, what have we got? Ipswich tomorrow, Gatton on Thursday. I better run that past John, but I'm pretty sure we're doing it.
You got the time now.
I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it anyway. I'll be going out doing the yard regardless. Then we've got Doomben and Gold Coast on Saturday. So looking to get February back on track and make sure that we make it a winning month.
Absolutely. And yeah, well, Friday, you're right. Bloodbath's the word. It was my birthday Sunday. I was about to tweet out and say the birthday's cancelled because you've already cancelled probably the next 4 Christmases. So,
the strike rate with those tweets is unbelievable, honestly.
That and the corn tweets.
The corn tweets, yeah. Well,
how's she going?
She let me down. She let me down. Well, she had
a stack.
In her defense, she had a fall at Grafton last week. And then I think her first ride back at Warwick yesterday, she actually fell off. And then she didn't get any winners. I think I backed her 3 times after that at Warwick and she didn't win any of them. We move on. Not a good start to unemployed life, that's for sure for me.
That's Jasmine Cornish for those playing at home that don't read all of the tweets that Tom sends out during the week. And I wouldn't
it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
It is a lot of dribble as well.
Yeah. Well, we will wrap up the dribble now as well. We'll get into Doomben. How do you think the track was going to play, and did it surprise you at all?
It pretty much played to what we thought. It probably was a genuine soft 6 in the end, and rail was out 2.5 meters. They were always going to get off the fence in the straight. It really comes down to tempo in these races when the fence is off. In fast run races, it does make it difficult for leaders to get out to the best part of the track, which sets it up for those horses in probably the second or third pair to swoop. But leaders in slow run races are definitely at a big advantage because the ones controlling in front are dictating the tempo, and they have enough gas in the tank to get off the fence early in the straight and get to the better part of the track.
All right, well, we will rip through all the replays for the meeting. Naturally, it's going to be a bit of a bite-sized video today with no John, so we'll probably rip through pretty quick. But we just overall for the meeting, we won the 3.8 units. We had a few bets early, a few bets late, but we'll yell them out before each replay. All right, let's get into race 1 at Doomben from Saturday. We did not bet here. The race was won by Jameldi, SP'd $2.90.
Yep. So Jameldi, your eventual winner, jumps from the wide gate in the light blue Tommy Button colours for Tiff Brooker. This is kind of the advantage for leaders or for horses that want to go forward when they draw wide gates. If they're slow away, it kind of gives the jockey an option to go forward, and that's what she did. She pushes forward, gets across out in front. She crosses the horse that I thought would probably win the race, being Spiritualized, and Byrne just kind of has to ease back a little. The horse wants to over race a bit. Just did too much in the run wrong. What kind of saved me betting into the race, fortunately, was there was no trial vision for the Les Kelly horse, Russian Racketeer, and Sidestep Me, Edmund's horse. So this was just one that we let through to the keeper, and lucky enough that we did, because I definitely thought Spiritualized was going to be able to turn the tables on Jameldi, given he was heading back to his home track and a better barrier than when they met last time out. But Jameldi was too good, found the lead in a pretty genuine tempo for a 2-year-old race, and has been able to stave them off. But the times here are nothing flash, and they were a pretty average bunch, so not much to take away from the race.
Okay, race 2 at Doomben. This was a 2,200 meter race won by Sale. We tipped that out on the early move on Thursday around the $12 quote. We had a half unit in the morning on it at $6.50, and we backed Outback Gladiator as well, half unit at $6.50, and it's actually SP'd about 12s, Tom.
Yeah, a bit sick that we got to record the results here, taking the fix at $6.50 when it's ended up $12 on Betfair. I am surprised that it did drift that much. It was coming off a pretty good win at Ballina over 1,900 meters. It did have the tempo to suit that day. However, it was a stylish win and only third up. Lindsay Hatch has got this horse flying this preparation. I guess the only query was whether it was going to run a genuine 2,200 meters, but the form was frank the night before at Sunny Coast with So Your Magic coming in to win. This is just a perfect Malian ride here in the pink colours, the grey. Just settles midfield on a pretty genuine tempo. They went 2.5 lengths faster than class average to the 600 meters, and peels out at the right time of momentum and puts them away accordingly.
Race 3 at Doomben, 1,200 meter race won by F Troop, which SP'd 340. We didn't have any bets in the morning, but we had 1.5 units on Roman Aureus from the yard and a half unit on Good On You Sonia. And I know the yard of Brisbane will be kicking himself, because he said he was keen on F Troop, and then he sort of dropped off a little bit before the race.
Yeah, I was the exact same. When you look at the market in the morning and Roman Aureus is sitting there at $2.10, you're more than happy to play into the race. He was just so well suited last start. The big query for me was dropping back from 13.50. I know he had the blinkers going on, but in a slow run race, coming back in distance in gate 1, which was most likely he was going to end up in the worst part of the track, he just couldn't take $2.10. But when you stepped into the yard, you could poke a lot of holes of horses in this race. And when it gets out to 330 on Betfair, the price was almost too good to refuse. So what I think we end up having 1.5 units on Roman Aureus. I think we had a half unit on Good On You Sonia. That was kind of just to close off. Constant Flight was always going to be your kind of leader, but he just fell apart in the yard. And he was a big question mark on a soft surface. So we were kind of happy to play against him. Chicago Cub was just gone, continues to be slow away, just not finishing off its races. Colpo di Tamburo, just not up to the class of these. And it kind of just left you with 3 horses. That was Roman Aureus, F Troop, and Good On You Sonia. As I said, we ended up zigging when we should have zagged. Perfect ride on F Troop. He was very unlucky there at the Gold Coast last start when he got chopped out for a run and never saw clear air. Given the perfect ride here, I know he settles off the speed in a slow run race, but he was just able to peel out to the right part of the track and showed his devastating turn of foot against a couple of horses that just aren't really there this preparation. Kind of just got to cop it on the chin. Roman Aureus, gate 1, a slow run race, having to come to the worst part of the track was the big worry, and my nightmare came to fruition.
F Troop, this might be a nuffy question, but I didn't think he was much of a run-on horse. I thought that was a lead at all costs type of operation, or has he been settling back a bit?
Yeah, you're right. Early days, he definitely was a kind of lead at all costs horse, but he's definitely, as he's matured, been able to kind of take a sit and show his turn of foot. And to be honest, like you wouldn't have to do much to get past some of these horses. Like
Right.
3 of them are completely out of play. All you have to do is get past Good on Your Sonia, who's a bit of a battler these days, one pace slug, and Roman Oris is just in the worst part of the track. So he didn't actually have to do much to win the race, but he's managed to get the job done and he's back in the winner's circle.
Race 4 at Doomben from Saturday. No bet race from us, early or late. Marry Me, the Waller runner, got the cash at $20.
Yeah, we dodged a bullet here. The market really came for this New South Wales country horse, Cool Lad. Started $3 on Betfair. I think it might have been $5, $6 in the morning, and it was just one-way traffic. In the yard, he was a big, strong thing. So on a wet track, he probably wasn't going to be well suited. And from the inside gate, as we saw with Roman Oris in the last, in these muddly run races, you can be forced to go back to the worst part of the track. So there was a few things there that you wanted how do I say this, that we didn't like. So we didn't want to play in the race, and we just couldn't find a horse to kind of bet against it either. So that's why we opted to stay out. The horse has done a really good job here, the green colours from gate 1 with Robbie Fradd on. I know they've gone, it probably looked like they went faster than what they did, but they have gone about 1 length faster than class average of the 600. But they have kind of slowed it up around the back, and the horse is just tugging to go forward. Like he's absolutely trucking throughout. The horses in front of him are no good, so he has to check off heels, come to the worst part of the track. And I'm very surprised that he actually picked up again, given that he probably wasn't suited on a wet track, found himself in all sorts. And to come second and run the third fastest last 200 of the race is an incredible effort. And I think the horse can definitely be followed in similar grade. I'm not saying he's no star. Like if he goes down to Sydney and runs in a metro race down there, he'll probably go around 20s and you probably can't have him. But if he stays up here, there's probably a race for him, definitely. Marry Me, these Waller runners, he wasn't ready first up, this horse, and he probably was a run short here. But when they are going round first up, they just don't go. They can improve drastically second up, which is what we've seen here. I know the pace was kind of on for him, but kind of was shot out of a bullet here. And I'm kind of starting to think this horse races a lot better outside of runners. I went back and watched that first up run. I know he wasn't fit, but he just never looked comfortable at all. And to run like he did here, the stable have always had a big opinion of the horse. You kind of look at its SP profile. It's always been in there in the market, and it's run around at 30s here and put him away pretty easily. Pentito, he's probably the forgive out of the race. He's a big, strong thing as well, and he's kind of been caught wide here, never really comfortable in the run. Not suited on a wet track. I'm probably looking for further. Other than that, I don't think there's much you can take out of the race. They're a pretty ordinary bunch as well.
Okay, moving on to race 5. No bets in the morning, but Tommy's had a unit on Gogol from the yard. SP'd around, $4 with the corpse. Probably got a little bit better on Betfair, and I thought I'd go on the early crow this race when it sort of ambled up. Took a while to sort of hit the front.
Geez, you love an early crow, don't you? So yeah, Gogol's the white and the black colours here from the wide gate. There's no one riding better at the moment, in my opinion, than Boris Thornton. I did think he might elect to go forward, but he made the right decision here to slot in behind Mayor Bay, which is ridden by KWT. There were a lot of holes in this race, which I was happy to play with in the end. We bought a zoo, was there about $10 in the market. It was $5 or something in the morning. It was always going to lead, but I just think that there was a big rating on it last start because obviously it's run behind a pretty high rating, high handicapped rated horse and Master Jamie, but it was just a no substance race. And to start it was never going to start $6. You kind of go back to its previous runs with David Van Dyke. Still can't get it this short, and it had to carry 60 kilos with unfavourable connections in the Richardson. So I was always kind of happy to take it on. Del Toro, not sure it's as suited on a wet track. Mayor Bay, I hate horses coming back in distance to 1,100,000 metre races, especially from wide gates. It wasn't going to be able to muster enough speed to get in a good position. The only danger I thought in the race was going to be a Samu. The market really came for it. It did start $2.90. It was probably unlucky to get the chockies because They have gone okay tempo in front, and it's run a very credible race, but Gogol's just run out of its skin here to run down Osamu. It's run the fastest last 600 of the meeting, the second fastest last 400 of the meeting to get the job done. This horse is absolutely flying now. Fourth up, it was ready to do something, and thankfully it did for us because we were bleeding at this point.
Absolutely, and I went the early crow, so I think there would have been about 10 people around me giving the stink eye if it got beat.
Yeah, so when you add that into the equation, it's carrying a whole lot of weight on its back.
Okay, moving along to race 6, not a betting race for us. Rich Lister got the cash, SP'd $3.50.
Yeah, so they've gone out about half a length fast here and come home 3.5 lengths fast. It's a pretty high rating race. I actually did bet personally here, and I've done my ass on the race. I think Rich Lister came into the yard with a lot of improvement. And gate 1 in a muddly run race, we'd seen gate 1 to be a pretty tricky position to be in on the day. So I was happy to take it on and ended up with egg on my face. This thing has dead set piss in. It's definitely the run of the meeting for mine. It's run enormous time first up and with improvement in it, and it's just a very progressive horse. Just keeps taking leaps and bounds every time we see it. The riding was on the wall with the impressive trial at Deegan. It's run right up to that and improved even further. So props to Jaden Lloyd and Connections. This was a pretty smart ride as well. He just held up the horse, waiting for the gaps to appear, which it eventually did, and put him away pretty smartly. Motto Miss is in there in the red and yellow Lindsay Hatch colours. It keeps running well, but given its handicap rating, it's very hard to place. Always has to carry the big weight, and it's always going to have a bit of luck given its racing pattern. Lies with a Z has gone about as good as it can go here. I think it's kind of found its level now. However, it is a pretty genuine horse, and it's always going to put itself there on the speed. It's just whether it's going to be unders or not going forward, because it does have a pretty good SP profile. The market doesn't miss it. The one you can probably forgive here is Grace Bay. I know it's carried probably 52 kilos, but it had to get replated before the race, which is never ideal. It was a bit of a rush job as well. They actually had to lead it out of the parade ring and took forever to get it done, and it's been caught wide here working throughout. I'm not sure where they go to next with it, but definitely forgive wherever it goes.
Okay, race 7 from Saturday. Paladas backers look away. Safe Work got the cash here, SP'd $11. We had a 0.25 units on it in the morning at the $10 mark, and 2.25 units on Paladas at $1.95.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what else to say about this race from a staking perspective. Like, I made Paladas the better result and Safe Work the chop out. I mean, how many times do you run this race and Jim Byrne makes the wrong split? I know it's a split-second decision. You can't really blame him. But how often does he make that wrong decision? It's hard to say. I do feel like a bit of a pussy, though, for only putting 0.25 units on it.
John was a little bit angsty after the race as well. I went and had a chat with him, and he sort of thought, would have been nice if we'd made that a bit of a winner, but easy after the race.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy in hindsight, but in saying that, I did only think there were 2 chances in the race, and that being Paladas and Safe Work. On paper, there looked no tempo in the race, so barriers were always going to be very important to where horses ended up in the run. The wide gate was always going to play against Garoppolo. I think I said 2 weeks, it would have been last week at the Sunny Coast. He's a horse who doesn't have a lot of tactical versatility, and he was a question mark over 1350. He has gone okay here. He has hit the line, but it was a slow run race. For mine, he's better on a dry track. He's better at 1200. He's better with speed on. I think the camp has really not placed the horse very well this preparation. He's a nice horse. I think he needs to freshen up, and can't wait to see him next preparation. The other horse I was always happy to take on was Glitter Strip. I didn't think there was a lot of improvement there from last start. I know she's run second here, but honestly, Safe Work has beaten them pretty comprehensively. Paladas was unlucky, and you can't really say much about the rest. They're pretty average horses. and this was a pretty average race. They've gone slow in front, sprinted home. Safe work. He's so hard to catch, which is why I only had a saver on him. Paladas, what can you say? He's been absolutely chopped out for a run for half the straight.
I don't know
Almost fell up.
Yeah, I don't know how he didn't fall over there. That's
how he didn't fall over, and he's somehow picked
Unbelievable.
up and run the fastest last 200 of the meeting. So there's no doubt about it. The horse should have won. What Jim Byrne could have done differently, maybe started to edge off the leaders a bit earlier, or perhaps even held the lead throughout. But there's no doubt that Golan and Connections would have been telling him to get off the rails in the straight and get out to the middle of the track, and that's what he's tried to do. And in doing that, he's opened up the passage for Safe Work to just come up the inside and put him away.
Okay, moving along to race 8 at Doomben. We didn't have any units in the morning, but we had 4 bets from the yard. This one went out on Twitter as well, so hopefully a few people out there backed a winner. We had 1.5 units on Dream Reacher, and we had a half unit on Sir Rocket and Deep Skeever, and then 0.25 units on Full Nelson at the big odds.
Yeah, apologies to anyone watching this. This is actually the first time I've watched the replay of this race. But they've gone out. They've actually haven't gone out very fast here at all. They've gone 5 lengths slow in front. So on the times, Dream Reacher has done an enormous job to come from the position it has in the run, especially given the inside gate as well. It's always tricky in slow run races to be on the rails because you're not really able to blend into the race when you want to. You're kind of dictated to what other horses are doing around you. And Jaden Lloyd, this is probably the best ride of the meeting, no doubt about it. If he goes wide here and follows some of those other runners, I'm not sure he gets there in the end. But to save the ground, find the gaps and get there in the last couple of strides was a magnificent ride. Stuttering does what it always does, puts itself there on speed and whacks away. Lacks that turn of foot to really put away a race. Just keeps going around in these benchmark 85s and class 6s and whatnot and whacks away for second and third. Deep Seaver, was it first up here or second up? First up here off a 105-day break. It's probably been suited the way the race is run, but 1350 isn't really its go. 1,600 metres controlling in front. It can definitely win a race this preparation. Never Know More. It's had to carry the big weight. It's probably looking for further. Got back in a slow run race, whacked away. One pace here. I think it's probably looking for further. Sir Rocket, it's done okay. No offense to Tegan, but back markers isn't really her go. The horse has actually gone very good in this race, but I'd like to see a jockey upgrade with a stronger back marker rider on this to back it next start. But Dream Reacher, at first when I watched the race, I thought the speed was on, so it's probably well suited. But given that the times have suggested that they haven't gone that fast in front, it's come home 4.5 lengths faster than class average. It's an enormous win here, and it's definitely one that can be followed and win again in this preparation. I think we've repriced the race. It's probably run up to about its SP. So as the outperformers in the market are Never Know More and Sir Rocket, given their positions in the run on a slow tempo.
Okay, race 9, we had 1 unit in the morning on both Super Giant and Exclusive at $6.50 and $4.40 respectively. No bets from the yard, and Ocean Treaty got the cash here, SP'd $8.50.
Yep, so they've gone pretty fast in front here in the end. So it was always going to make it difficult for Grace Bay and Super Giant, who have worked across from the wide gates. As I said earlier, when you go this fast in front, it is hard to get to the best part of the track when you need to. So Diva Bella, who was your eventual favourite, started $3.50 on Betfair, has done a pretty good job here to work from the wide gate, find the lead, probably not get to the right part of the track at the right time. It's done a pretty good job here to hang on for third. Stardome, probably suited the way the race is run because it is looking for further, settled midfield, come out to the right part of the track. And saying that, it can probably pick off a race somewhere this preparation when Waller and that decide to really tune it up. Ocean Treaty, given the perfect ride here, second pair, peeled out to the right part of the track. Not much else to say about the race. Exclusive was on the toe in the yard, so it was always going to be a question mark whether it can run a genuine mile. It hasn't. And Super Giant, think John deserves him to give himself a bit of an uppercut here. I'm fucking over this horse, to be honest. It's just too hard to catch. When he put out the units, I almost vomited. I fell into it last start. No, I said never again, and now he's fell into it here. It's just such a hard horse to catch. You don't get the same Supergiant run to run, and he has to carry a big weight each time, given what he did as a 3-year-old. As I said, there's not a lot of ability between a lot of these horses. It comes down to who gets the best run, and Ocean Treaty was given the best ride, given the tempo, and was too good for him.
Okay, that concludes our post-operation analysis of the Doomben meeting from Saturday, 5th of Feb. Tommy, what's you're flying solo today, so you're going to have to give us 2 horses to follow. What do you like out of the meeting?
Yep, I'm going to give you 2 horses to follow who actually won on the meeting. I think they could win again next start. Race 5, Go Goal. With a better barrier, I think he can position closer in the run, whether that be at 1100 or stepping up to 1200 next start. Probably like to see him go up to 1200 next start, but he definitely hasn't lightened off in the yard, and he can definitely win a race. That was only a no metro wins there, so there's definitely more wins in store for him in the next few weeks. Yep, and the second horse to follow was the winner in the next race, Rich Lister. Had to overcome gate 1, which was very tricky to deal with during the day, given the way the track was playing, with the worst part of the track being towards the inside, and also the fact that he had definite improvement to come in the yard. Horses who carry that much condition, they don't necessarily go that good on wet tracks, but it's gone like an absolute bomb here in the closing sectionals. You definitely got to follow him next start, because he's just going to be winning a lot of races this preparation.
All right, so that's Go Goal and Rich Lister out of the Doomben meeting. You don't think Supergiant might have been a good one to back next start?
Look, did have to settle outside the lead in a fast run race, but for me, just too hard to catch these days. Too hard.
All right.
Up yours, John. He won't watch this video anyway.
Well,
maybe he might.
John, if you're watching this, I'll give you $10. There you go. So yeah, upcoming this week, like we touched on earlier, we got Ipswich Wednesday. Gatton there, which is unconfirmed, but you'll be there, Tom.
I will be there,
Mr. Unemployed.
I'm not sure how many races I'll be able to cover beforehand between now and Thursday, but there'll definitely be some bets going out, I think.
All right.
Don't mind the card out there. Fast dry track at Gatton definitely suits me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Gatton, even if we're not officially covering it, the guys in the WhatsApp late mail group usually get sort of the off-cut meetings each week, which is a really good little bonus. We've got Gatton there. We had Toowoomba on Saturday night, which I don't remember much of, but I remember cheering home at least one winner. How'd you go there?
Yeah, it was a profitable meeting, I think. How many units did it send out? I think it might have sent out 4 or 5, and we got 9 back, I think. Back the first winner in Coup. Mitt led the whole way. Then the jockeys thought, oh shit, we've got a leader bias track here. And from there on in, everyone was hunting for the lead. And at Toowoomba, they're usually pretty fast run races. They only know one way, those jocks. But it was even more prevalent after that. I think we backed La Petite Missile in the second last race. Thankfully, Kyle elected to take a sit when they were going bananas in front. Unfortunately, I think we took $2.50. Ended up starting $4 on Betfair or something like that. And then we backed in the last. We were on Keep Moving Forward, and it got carved up in front by the saver bet, which was Splasher, which set it up for on 24/7. But yeah, it was a good night there at Toowoomba, and definitely be covering it again this Saturday.
Absolutely, yeah. So that is in the WhatsApp group, which you get access to if you're a weekly or a monthly subscriber to either tip sheets or the platinum sheets. Every now and then we'll chuck a couple of races at Rose Hill in there, and there's always the out far and wide sort of tracks as well. But Saturday's copy paste again, Doomben Gold Coast, and then Sunny Coast Sunday. So should be a really big week for us. Hopefully, we got Tom with a bit more time on his hands to sort of get his head into the form. So hopefully that will translate into results. But even if we're holding the line, how we're going now, we're about 25% profit on turnover for the year so far. So so far so good.
Yep, pretty good. Last week, not good enough though. Break even. We've got to make a profit this week.
Well, if you get the right price on sale, you probably do have a win, but we won't get into that anymore. But
yeah, look, you could probably, that's absolutely 100% correct. The staking last week was left a lot to be desired. Taking that price sale and not going to get in the yard, blame John for that one. And only having a fucking pussy saver bet on safe work, that was piss poor effort by me.
scathing review. Hopefully this week's a bit better. But Tom, well done flying solo today. And we'll be back for the early move on Thursday. Hopefully John's a bit less camera shy.
Yeah, hopefully he pulls his finger out. He's probably on a date or something. Can we confirm what he's actually doing at the moment?
We'll hit him up after this. We'll see. We might get a bullshit answer.
Yeah, no doubt.
Too good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Tom. Cheers.
All right, sweet. Thanks, James.